Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, starting off a new week here. Probably going to be doing a live stream around Friday of this week. Coming on Wednesday, have an interview with special guest. First time on the channel, Tom Coffey of Coffee and Nuance. I'll be editing that a little bit later, probably around Tuesday of this week. I'm going to try to get the video up maybe around Wednesday. But it was a great interview. We talked about the whole Cuba situation. Obviously, my opinions are probably going to be different from some. But as I explained in the video, what we were more or less doing is raising questions that we don't think we have solid answers to. So, you might not agree with what the points we were raising, but what we encourage people to do is if you disagree, provide your data, provide your information. Because as I've shown to people in the past, my mind can be changed. Some people think that it can't, but I've invited people on in the past, and they might not have changed my mind completely, but they are able to change my mind. So I'm open. That's why I'm an independent. That's why this is the Lone Wolf podcast, because I don't believe in tribalism. So definitely check out that video, and definitely go check out Coffee and Nuance. He does great stuff. I'm loving his Fact Check Fridays segments. But that being said, there's a clip that's making the rounds right now where, everyone loves when mainstream media gets owned. And real quick, I will have to say this. If you do watch my video with Tom Coffey, if you're noticing the lighting might look a little bit different. Still got the blue and the red, but I'm not going to have that in that video. Unfortunately, my red decided to kick the damn bucket over here and die out on me. So the day I was going to record, I only had my blue, so I had to turn the bright light on up top, and it was just basically a regular lighting. So I've had to get 2 replacement lights. I got something a little more better, a little more stronger, so that's why the colors might be popping a little bit more in this video than previous ones. So, but back to the Michael Wolff thing. So the clip making the rounds right now, everybody loves when mainstream media gets owned, especially someone like Brian Stelter. I know I like it. It's fun to watch, right? But here's the problem. How credible is a guy like Michael Wolff? You got to question this guy's credibility to some extent, right? Well, before we get to that, because I've got a nice long clip I'm going to review, probably about 7-minute clip, and I'm going to break it down. Before we get to that, I'm going to play the clip that's making the rounds that everyone wants to talk about right now, which is the Michael Wolff versus Brian Stelter segment on CNN. So let's roll that, and then we'll discuss more afterwards.
But I don't want you to think that what I said at that point was in any way inauthentic. I think the media has done a terrible job on this. I think you yourself, while you're a nice guy, you're full of sanctimony. You become part of one of the parts of the problem of the media. You come on here and you have a monopoly on truth. You exactly how things are supposed to be done. You are one of the reasons people can't stand the media. I'm sorry.
You're cracking me up.
It's your fault.
So what should I do differently, Michael?
Don't talk so much. Listen more. People have genuine problems with the media. The media doesn't get the story right. The media exists in its own bubble.
That's true. I agree.
You got to stop. I mean, that last segment that I just had to listen to of all of the people saying the same old stuff. Also, you're incredibly repetitive. It's week after week. I mean, you're the flip side of Donald Trump. Fake news, and you say virtuous news. There's
we just figure out what is
here.
real.
I mean,
I'm listening.
Well, figuring out what is real is not so easy, and right. Most people don't want to turn to Brian Stelter to tell us what's real. I'm sorry.
Well, then why'd you bother coming on CNN a few times this week?
I'm a book salesman.
Michael, I love talking to you. I'm grateful you came on. And I guess let's do it again in 4 years.
Now, first things first, is it really hard to understand why people do not like this little, clown Brian Stelter? I mean, while Michael Wolff is making valid points about why people do not trust the media, Brian Stelter's facial expressions the entire time just oh. There's no wonder why the right-wing conspiracy theorist YouTuber Mark Dice gets such great views on his channel for making a parody out of that guy. I mean, he is absolute trash on television. Seriously. And keep in mind, what led up to this? It wasn't in this clip, but if you do your homework, you do your research, CNN's ratings have been in the fucking toilet since Donald Trump left office. I mean, everybody's went down. But CNN really lost a chunk of viewership. Now, considering that fact, what the hell were they talking about going into this? Donald Trump. He's not in office anymore. He's not in office. And I got news for you. He is a former president. You've got a sitting president with a sitting vice president with a Senate and a Congress all dominated by the party you think is the better fucking choice. And there is plenty of fucking shit to talk about that is more current than Donald Trump, that it pertains to actual current events more than Donald Trump. And it ain't just trivial shit. It's important stuff. And you don't want to talk about it. You know why? Because Donald Trump draws ratings. Now, you did your fucking part to get the orange boogeyman out of office, but now you want those viewers back. The same way, what was it? Bob Koppel or whatever his name was. I forget how you say his last names. But he was the old school reporter, the old school journalist. And he ripped Brian Stelter a fucking new one if you've ever seen that clip. Like, you guys can't have ratings for shit without Donald Trump. Donald Trump means the world to you guys. Why? Because he's putting more money in your fucking pockets. That's what a lot of people meant by when they say how much free publicity Trump got to beat Hillary Clinton in 2016. They would not cover Ron Paul that way, even though he was running as an outsider. They would not cover Tulsi Gabbard that way, even though she was running as an outsider. They would not cover, pick your outsider. Some people say Bernie. They did try to ignore him a lot in 2016. Some people say Andrew Yang. A lot of people say Tulsi Gabbard. How about Mike Gravel? Throw that name in the fucking conversation. No, they don't make TV time because they didn't draw ratings. They just had an outsider message. Trump was capitalizing on both fields. He would come out and just throw these fucking bombs, true or not. That would draw the media in. It was like fucking chicken livers going catfish fishing. Perfect fucking bait. Stinks like hell and is going to draw the fish right in. He knew how to do it. He reeled these fuckers in hook, line, and sinker, and they took the fucking bait and they gave him all this free press, and voila, you got a Donald Trump president. You know why? Because you people don't appreciate how pissed off the country is getting over the bullshit. They're tired of it. They're fucking tired of it. Period. But now let's get to the end of the clip. So you heard all the criticisms that Michael Wolff made right there, right? I just did a video the other week talking about former media darling Michael Avenatti. Something about Michael's here. Isn't that something? Michael Cohen, Michael Avenatti, Michael Wolff. What the fuck is it with Michaels, Trump, and the media? Because as soon as Cohen turned on Trump, he became a media darling. Like, the only other one I know of who became such a media darling after his fallout with Trump was a fucking old Scaramucci, the mooch. I don't know. Maybe his parents almost considered naming him Michael too. Michael Scaramucci. I don't know. But he's the only one that so far was a big media darling and wasn't named Michael that was going after Donald Trump at one point. But there seems to be a trend with the Michaels here now, right? So that being said, notice when Brian finally pushes back, like, okay, if the media is this bad, why'd you come on CNN so many times this week? And then there's very, very important information that he finally reveals. Well, I'm a book salesman. So the media's corrupt as hell, but you'll engage in it because selling books is more important? That's a question now, right? So following up on that question, now let's get to this other clip and let's break this down as we go. Let's take a look.
I want you to tell me something that the other people have not noticed in this book. Is there something that you think, boy, why don't they ask me about this that I put in there that they're not talking about?
There is, but I can't tell you what it is. So
well,
there is
fuck you, Mike. Teasing us like that.
There is something in the book that I was absolutely sure of, but it was so incendiary that I just didn't have the ultimate proof.
God, considering what he's done, what is it, a woman thing?
Well, I didn't have the blue dress.
No, is it about a woman?
It is.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Oh, it's somebody he's fucking now.
It is.
Oh.
And it's...
Who is he
You
fucking?
just have to read between the
please.
lines.
What lines? Tell us the lines. You say it's in the book.
It's toward the end of the book.
Okay, well, it's in the book, then we go...
You just have to... You'll know it.
I'll know it.
Now that I've told you, when you hit that paragraph, you're going to say,
all right.
Bingo.
Okay.
So, for those who don't remember what took place with this, rewind, take a little trip. A couple of years ago, short history lesson. There was the big scandal. Everyone was ranting and raving about this guy's book. Oh my God, how could the Trump administration have just allowed him to sit around and watch all their dirty secrets and gather all this information? And no one ever even questioned why this guy was here. There was all sorts of scandals about it. And then the book comes out and they're all like, ooh, it was like crack for the media, right? They're all getting high, just sitting there like they're smoking fucking Christmas, just smoking this shit the fuck up like, oh my God, this is such fucking great shit, right? And then he goes on Bill Maher and he makes this insinuation Trump is having an affair with someone who works pretty much at the White House or whatever. Bill Maher's pressing him on it, and he goes on to say, it's in the later part of the book, and if you read, there's a paragraph, and you will be able to figure out pretty much or infer who I'm talking about. Well, it didn't take people very long to figure out who he was referring to, or at least who they thought he was referring to. They thought he was referring to Nikki Haley. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be clear. Nikki Haley, former governor of my state, South Carolina. Not a Nikki Haley fan. Wasn't a fan of her when she was our governor either. But I don't care who the person is. I think this kind of goes back to like when I had Sebs, Allie, and Mona on. And we were talking about the whole like Jimmy Dore, Anna Kasparian thing, right? Like, I don't care who the woman is. You shouldn't potentially slut shame a woman, whoever it is. Okay, even someone who might be a war hawk, a neocon, too far right winger, whatever. You shouldn't slut shame anyone. Now he's gonna go and push back, as you're gonna see in these following clips that come after this. He's gonna try and push back and then say, "Oh, but wait a minute, I never said she did. I said I thought he was having an affair with someone, and I didn't say who the affair was with." But again, he pretty much said you could read the paragraph and figure it out. People are going to press back on. So let's just continue because I don't want to ramble too long on one little segment here and then this video take forever. So move on to clip number 2. Let's take a look at this one.
People concluded that the president was having an affair with Nikki Haley, and I believe to this day he sticks to his point that I never said that, and just some reporter said that. I didn't say that. Well, he put 2 and 2 together, okay? He basically said that. He strongly suggested it, and I think he should take ownership of that.
Okay, so this is about Nikki Haley, who is the U.S. ambassador to the UN. You made these remarks, as we just saw on the show of Bill Maher, that somewhere in the book, you didn't have the sources, but there is a suggestion that President Trump has an affair with a woman that he works with. Why did you make that statement?
Well, I didn't make a statement, as we just saw here. I don't know.
You suggested that there was something going on.
I don't know.
That's all known, but now you suggest on a show that he has an affair with...
I'm suggesting, what I am suggesting is that it is unlikely that this behavior stopped at the White House door.
That's not true, because in this interview you said, well, you can find who it is towards the end of the book, and there you will find, between the lines, the person who he is having an affair with.
You can read what you want into this.
No, you said
I do not. Yes, I'm saying again, you can read what you want into this. I am also saying that if I knew, it would be in the book. It is not in the book.
But for people who are studying journalism here, because this is the fine line between facts and gossip. What is the rule? What is the rule of Michael Wolff when you can say something is true
wait a
or
minute.
suggested?
Let's get this between facts and gossip. First thing, gossip can often be facts. Gossip is the currency that is one of the currencies of anybody's information life.
Okay, pause just right there for a second. So, as you can tell, I'm not sure really who this guy is, but it's like a CRT, not critical race theory, but whatever this was. It was some kind of like college tour thing where he's, I guess, speaking to young people trying to become journalists or whatever. And the guy's pushing back on him and saying, no, you did say you could figure out. He's like, well, you can read into whatever you want. No, you told people what to read into this. Well, I just didn't think it stopped at the White House door. No, you didn't just say you didn't think it stopped. You said you pretty much had everything but the blue dress, obvious reference to, the old 90s Monica Lewinsky thing with Bill Clinton or whatever. So, no, you said basically this was taking place. You just couldn't quite grab the smoking gun, but you're 99% sure it happened, basically. That's what you were implying on Bill Maher's show. Now you're getting pressed on it. Oh, well, I mean, he's... once a playboy, always a playboy. You know what they say. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And I just don't think he stopped once he became president. I don't see that if he became president, he became a faithful husband. Okay, fair enough, but that ain't what you said to start with. You said someone could read your book, a book which, by the way, some people had already been trying to criticize before this revelation because you had already admitted you did rush to get the book out because there were a lot of errors in your book. You were misplacing people's names, calling one person someone else. You had all kinds of spelling error. Now look, I'm not the best at grammar and English. It wasn't my best subject in school. But you know what? Number one, I'm not a journalist. Number two, I'm not a reporter. Number three, I'm not a writer. I don't write books. I don't write novels. I don't write any sort of reading material. The closest thing I do to any of that is this podcast right here. I am a simple old blue-collar guy in South Carolina. I drink bourbon, I drink whiskey, I drink beer. And I love a good rum and Coke, too. Whatever. You can hate me about drinking the rum and say that's a sissy drink if you want. Rum's fucking good. Whatever. Point is, you are supposed to be the writer. You are supposed to be the journalist. You are supposed to be the fucking reporter here. And this is the kind of shit you're giving us? And as he points out, so we need to draw this line between what's fact and what's gossip. And what's his fucking argument? well, a lot of times gossip can be fact. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Sure, the old talking grandmas who hang around after church and talk all kinds of shit sometimes tell a story that's true. Absolutely. Sometimes they could be telling the truth when they say that old Billy Bob down the street's been fucking his sister. Oh, absolutely. Especially if you live, I don't know, in someplace like the middle of Arkansas, or you're around, where deliverance took place or whatever. Sure, that could absolutely be true. Many given trailer park, I'm sure, has witnessed incest. I can get away with saying shit like that because I'm from this neck of the woods, and unfortunately, we do have some fucking sick people who only have 3 teeth and appeal to nothing but their fucking family members, who also have 3 teeth and enjoy chewing on those Spam sandwiches. I can get away with that. I was born here. I've seen the shit. So, absolutely someone could be telling that story and it be true. But how many times can that gossip also be bullshit? How many times can that gossip be overinflated? How many times does that funny little game of telephone? You remember playing telephone in school? You start the message on one side of the room, you get to say it one time, and then they tell somebody else. And by the time it comes out on the other side of the room, it is way different than what you heard over here, or what the first person said, rather. Comes out way different, right? So understand, he was just criticizing in the first clip Brian Stelter, rightfully so. Brian Stelter sucks. You won't get a defense of Brian Stelter from me. I don't like watching Brian Stelter. I'd probably rather drink Drano than watch Brian Stelter, just to get a good buzz on, than watch Brian Stelter. But you're criticizing him for being part of the problem, and yet you're trying to defend using gossip, because sometimes gossip can be fact. Yeah, and a lot of times gossip can be bullshit too. But whatever, let's continue with the clip.
What do you know? A lot of this is gossip. I'm not afraid of gossip. As a matter of fact, I, like every other reporter, lives off of gossip.
Okay,
Gossip is that I did not put that in the book because I didn't know.
Do you regret the remark that you made on this Bill Maher show because it led to a speculation about...
I did not... I did not make any remark. I only said that I believe the president is, in all likelihood, is involved with someone.
First of all, look this up. Now, does this mean it is lying? No. But if you look up, what is saying a lot a common sign of? It's like a filler word, right? And what do they call it? It's like something cognitive load or something like that. When your brain is trying to process what you're going to say, you tend to throw a lot of filler words into the conversation. Keep that in place. Watch how many more times he's going to do that going forward. Now, to be fair, I have a problem saying every once in a while. It's not because I'm lying. I'm going to tell you why. It's because when I make videos, I've gotten a lot better about it. Just like the old cowboy I dress like, I shoot from the hip. I don't really, every now and then, if I've got really something I want to make sure I'm hitting these points for this video. Because a lot of times, I'll get on a roll and forget 1 or 2 things I was originally going to say. But I don't write a script for the video. I don't have anyone like a producer here, coach. This is all done by me. So when I come in here and I make these videos, I literally quick draw, shoot from the hip, and make these videos. But if I'm thinking, like where I just took that pause right there, if I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, sometimes there might be a little pause in there, something like that. Especially when I go on someone else's show and I'm trying to process something that we're talking about, and perhaps it's not something that I have read the most into. I'm not a professor on the topic, I haven't studied a boatload of information about it. So I'm trying to think like, okay, and the way my brain works, I try to put myself outside of the equation as if I'm looking in. So this is why I stay independent. This is why I will talk to lefties. I'll talk to righties. I'll talk to libertarians. I'll even talk to greens. Talk to so many different people because a lot of people get into their camps and play tribalism. And well, if my camp says it, then it's got to be true. And if the other camp says it, then they got to be wrong. I take a step back. I don't try to encompass myself in an echo chamber like a caterpillar going into a cocoon over here. I try to always look from the outside in and just use my common sense that I have to look at that scenario and say, what makes sense to me? And I try to do that with a lot of things. But that being said, this is something you should have known was coming your way when you did this. Now you're here. Now you're being asked the questions you probably knew were coming, and you're getting stuck with Okay. Now, maybe he's just processing the way I do. But to me, it looks more like you're caught with your pants down right now, son. Interesting analogy there, considering the accusation you're making. But now you're caught. And just like the little worm, you're trying to find your way to get off that hook. Period. That's what this looks like to me. And for him to say, which, by the way, going back to my previous comments about how the whole gossip thing, what did he also? Journalists rely on gossip, and you defended that point, yet you just criticized Brian Stelter. Talked about all the problems with the mainstream media and why people don't trust them. Yet here you are, a few years before you made these criticisms of Brian Stelter, basically arguing for that point of view because it was beneficial for your bald-headed, pasty white ass to do so. Why should anybody fucking trust you? Why should they? I mean, who the fuck are you? You had just admitted on the Brian Stelter clip you're just a book salesman. What, like a used car salesman? Because they're so fucking trustworthy, right? Like, a salesman really cares about making his sale. And if that's what your driving motives are, then what you're basically telling me is you could give a fucking shit less about morale, convictions, principles, or just fucking doing the right thing, and we'll leave it at that. You don't give a fat fucking rat's ass about none of that. But what you do care about is just simply selling your damn book. Brian Stelter shows reliable sources, and yeah, you certain Brian himself isn't a reliable source, but from what I'm gathering, neither are you. Neither are you. And for him to also to say he didn't make a remark on Bill Maher's show, no, Michael, you did not come out and say Nikki Haley was sleeping with Donald Trump or they were turning it into the Oral Office 2.0. You did not say that. But you did say you thought he was having an affair, and you did say, read my book. Later in the book, toward the end of the book, you'll read a certain paragraph, and when you read it, you'll say, bingo, as if you could figure it out. You did say that. Let's not play that you just left it as I think he's having an affair. No, sir. Your mouth had a lot more verbal diarrhea than you act like it had. But let's continue again.
And that reflects the gossip in the White House. And whether true or not, I don't know, which is why it is not in the book.
Here you go, over there.
As a journalist myself, we both know that there is a responsibility to tell the truth, whether it makes great sales for your book or not. My question is, before in an interview, they said that some of your fact-checking was a bit sloppy and some of the alleged incidents that happened were untrue. Are you relying upon the fact that this is a president who is easy to hate and who we don't actually believe most of the time is telling the truth?
short answer to that question, yeah, that's exactly what he's relying on. But we'll hear what he has to say.
I mean, there's the mistakes in the book are of the most trivial kind. One of the things that's happened with this book is that it has become in itself greater than a book, a political event. So the fact that a Mark Berman was mixed up with a Mike Berman is suddenly an issue. All books mix up Mike Berman and Mark Berman. So I don't know. Everything in this book, to the best of my ability, is as true as I could, as I was able to. As true, I was going to say, as true as I could make it, but that would mean that I'm making up the truth. I was, for everything in this book, it rose to a level that I was comfortable with saying the overwhelming likelihood is that this is true.
But implying that a woman is having an affair is not trivial because you're therefore actually implying her on a professional level and damaging her reputation. That's not trivial in my opinion.
Amen, lady. I don't know what your name is, but good fucking job. Kudos to you. And did you pay attention to all those like, okay, dude, you clearly don't have a speech issue. Why are you trying to process what's about to come out of your mouth so fucking hard on something you should have anticipated was going to be coming your way when you did this? Oh, Lord. And remember, sloppy fact checking. You point out, people are talking about your sloppy fact checking. Every book mistakes a Mike Berman for a Mark Berman. Really? Every book? Because every book writes about what you wrote about, right? Every book is about politics. Every book is about Bermans. Every book is about Mikes and Marks. Every book is about Donald Trump. Bullshit. And even for the ones who are, they probably didn't make those mistakes. Do you realize, like, that literally fucking sounds, honestly, like something that critics would say would have came out of Donald Trump's mouth. Like, every time he has a defense for something, everyone does it. I'm not doing anything unnormal. Everyone does it. It's always great. It's beautiful. Everyone does their normal thing. But don't blame me. Don't blame me. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. I'm not alone here. You wrote a book to complain about Trump. And when you get called on your bullshit, you respond with certain tactics Trump would use, except you're way more fucking boring. You're way less entertaining to listening to. And you're just honestly not as good as trying to defend your bullshit as he is. What are you, fucking jealous that you can't win people over the same way he can? Are you jealous that even though he has funny looking hair, you can't comb yours that way? What the fuck is your problem? Like, you're doing the same shit. What is this? Projection? Yeah, fucking reliable source. Michael Wolff. Now we get to perhaps the best clip yet. I'm not a fan of Brian Stelter. I'm not a fan of CNN. Really not a fan. I am not a fan of MSNBC. And I could give a rat's ass about Morning Joe. Because they bullshit a lot too. Keep that in mind, because they're going to make a remark about that. But he goes on Morning Joe, who, by the way, he'd been on Morning Joe plenty of times prior to this little scandalous revelation of his. But now he goes back on and he gets some pushback. And this is one of the rare times. It's like spotting a fucking Bigfoot or a unicorn or a UFO or finding a pot of gold. It's that fucking rare that you will hear MSNBC or Morning Joe or whatever actually do a good job at pressing back against someone other than Donald Trump. One of the few times you will see it, here it is. They push back on him about his claims. This is fucking beautiful. Let's take a look at this now.
Talking about things you didn't know firsthand, saying you believed it was true, but you had no proof that the president had an affair with someone in his administration.
Yes.
It's pretty much what you said. Then you
Yes.
kind of led and indicated if you follow the breadcrumbs, you can figure out who it was. After a lot of rumors came out, it was speculation that you meant Nikki Haley, and you said she's embraced it. Don't you find that absolutely irresponsible at this point in time where we are as a society, when you're talking about a woman who's a high-profile woman in the Trump administration,
let me
to go after her without any evidence, without any facts? It just seems that it is so irresponsible.
Well, first thing, I didn't go after her, and secondly, what I meant was I found it puzzling that she would deny something she was not accused of.
Wait a minute. Can I just step in here? Let's put this next question, the entire credibility of your book, which was written really quickly.
Excuse me.
Your book.
Yes.
Let's put it on this next question. Do you regret inferring anything about Nikki Haley?
I didn't infer anything about Nikki Haley. What I inferred was that the president is that many of the people around the president believe he is still involved with various women.
No, but you said she spent a lot of time in private time with.
I got it.
I mean, that's exactly what people report. And specifically, that was about her bid to become the Secretary of State. So everywhere in the White House, they were suddenly in quite a panic that this was actually happening,
Michael,
which is why they pushed
said
Pompeo out.
She has embraced it. I'm going to go as far as to say that you might be having a fun time playing a little game, dancing around this, but you're slurring a woman. It's disgraceful.
It's Mika, again, she has been accused of nothing. She has decided to deny what she has not been accused of.
Right.
Certainly, I didn't accuse her of this.
Wait, are you suggesting that the language is not ambiguous in any way in the things that you've said and the way you've stated it?
Are you kidding? You're on the set of Morning Joe. We don't BS here.
Well, read me the language.
Are you kidding me? I'm not reading you anything.
Play the Bill Maher.
If you don't get it, if you don't get what we're talking about, I'm sorry. This is awkward. You're here on the set with us, but we're done. Michael Wolff, thank you. We're going to go to break now. Bye, everyone. We'll be right back.
This is the set of Morning Joe. We don't BS here. What do you BS outside? Because you bullshit. You bullshit a lot. But whatever. That ain't the point of this video. I think everyone knows MSNBC's full of shit at times. And Morning Joe, the whole crew. They're paid to do it. They're paid to bullshit. They're paid to pump propaganda. But this is one of the rare examples where the mainstream media stuck their fucking foot in their fucking mouth. They bring this guy on, they prop him up, they kiss his ass, they try, he might be the one to bring down Donald Trump. This book, Fire and Fury. And then you found out he's a sleazeball writer, he's a sleazeball journalist, half-ass fact-checked this fucking book. He was in a rush to get it out. 'Cause I'm a book salesman. I got money to make. You can trust me. And you find out he isn't trustworthy. He's like TMZ, again, defending the gossip with journalism shit. Understand, Mr. Wolff. This is the Lone Wolf podcast. I'm offended that your last name has anything to do with the name of my show. I'm not going to rebrand. I've put too much effort into it at this point. But no, I don't like my show sounding like your name. You're not trustworthy. You are a fucking fraud and a hack. You don't give a damn about anything other than making money, and you've shown that shit. You've shown it. You're not fucking trustworthy. I agree with your criticism of Brian Stelter, but you of all people make the definition of damn irony to be the one to make the criticism. That's like Charles Manson bitching at someone about murder. Well, to be fair, he didn't go out and actually kill him, but he orchestrated the shit, so maybe Charles Manson isn't a good one to use. I don't know, Jack the Ripper, the Zodiac Killer. Who else? Who else should we go with here? John Kramer? Like, them go out and bitch to someone about how they murder someone. Like, could you imagine if they made a Saw movie and they did a flashback and John Kramer, the way you murder people, it's very sloppy. I'm disappointed with your work. You should do it a little bit better. Like, I mean, I think he actually had a scene like that in one of those movies, right? But what the fuck is the irony? You're killing someone. You're killing someone and you're criticizing how someone else does it. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You are a slimeball. And what you defend as far as gossip, there's already an avenue for that. Michael Wolff. You know what it's called? TMZ. You know what else it's called? Tabloids. Tabloids. Some people do this, but who do you know that puts all of their faith into some shit like the Inquirer or whatever, or these tabloids, like it's the gospel truth? That shit is supposed to be entertainment news and what ifs and shit like that, right? That's not what the actual news is supposed to be. And if you wanted to make your book something like that, then the real news should have covered you that way. But they didn't. They propped your ass up. You are a fucking phony. Now, I don't really give a damn at this fucking point. What's done is done. I'm making this video just because I think there's a big old fucking irony that everybody seems to be so happy that this guy owned the shit out of Brian Stelter. Okay, fair enough. But on the heels of you being just as much of a slime ball, I want people to understand, don't think this guy is some sort of a moral, intellectual crusader over here who called out mainstream media to their face. Yeah, he did, but he's corrupt as fuck himself. He didn't care about telling truths. He cared about generating publicity, just like Chris Kyle did to Jesse Ventura. He cared about making money, and he would bury someone else, try to ruin their reputation, or just sink their fucking careers if he thought he could turn a buck by doing it. And that ain't nothing to fucking be proud of or celebrate. But he fucking did. And that's bullshit. That's just bullshit. I have no other way of describing it. But he did. So you shouldn't take him seriously either. He's literally what my grandparents told me when I was young as the pot calling the kettle black. He is doing nothing but criticizing someone else for doing the same sort of shit he himself has engaged in over time to make money. Spreading bullshit, creating rumors. There's plenty of shit that you could have been talking about. There's plenty of real scandals that really mean some shit that you could have been talking about. But you ignored that to talk about this instead. Just like Brian Stelter. Because talking about what Trump did, I don't know, with NAFTA 2.0, wasn't going to draw ratings. Talking about what Trump did with other things like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau or whatever, right? Talking about what he did with that. Might be a little buzz, but no, what really is good? Trump and Stormy Daniels. Oh, yeah. We got a winner here, folks. We got a winner. That's the one we got to run with. Who did Trump screw? That's breaking news. That's what the people give a shit about. It's fucking pathetic. It's absolutely fucking pathetic. And all of the mainstream media companies who brought this guy on years ago like he was some, prophet and such a great hero, the same way Bill Maher brought on Michael Avenatti, the same way the rest of them brought on Michael Avenatti, they should be ashamed of doing that. They should be ashamed of doing this. And as far as his criticisms of Brian Stelter and the media are concerned, they have truth, but does it really mean much coming from someone who does the same shit? So, like my friend Tom Coffey out there in Portland always says, who can you trust nowadays? Who can you get your news from? Because seems like everyone these days is just full of shit, basically, right? So if you like this video, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up. Drop the comments in the comment box down below. Help share this around on social media. Get the message out there. If you haven't and you just found this video and you're not a subscriber to the channel, which I would be extremely surprised at this point, because I'm not talking about Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kulinski, and TYT here. That seems to be the only thing that brings in the new subscribers. But if by chance you found this video and you're not a subscriber yet, I'll be grateful if you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell so that you know when we drop new videos. Hopefully, anyway, assuming YouTube doesn't play any games there. But yeah, definitely show us some support over here. We much appreciate it here at the Lone Wolf Podcast, which is basically me. But would be much appreciated. And so remember, definitely, as I mentioned earlier, gonna have a video coming out with Tom Coffey. I'm looking at probably Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when I'm looking at trying to get that uploaded right now. And if you haven't, definitely go check out his channel as well. And we'll see you next time right here on the Lone Wolf Podcast. Take care, everyone.